Alright, welcome to a new video guide where we'll explain what Cursor AI is. It's basically a code editor that works with artificial intelligence. As you can see, I have my code here, right? Well, I hit play and I've been programming a snake game, see? Now in the section on the right, let's stop playing for a moment. On the right, as we can see, we have the AI, which is basically Cloud. It says Cloud 3.5 here, but we can also set up GPT-4, 03, 01, and so on. We can choose different ones, though Cloud is the default, and basically we can keep asking it questions. I haven't hit the limit yet, but I assume there is a writing cap. It seems to work quite well. And one of its positive features is that I can apply changes directly, okay? For example, in the game, I've added some power-ups that act like magnets, making the snake collect more apples and such. I've made them yellow and diamond shaped. So you program it, okay? Based on your existing code, you read it as is and apply it. Got it? Basically, you use Ctrl-Shift-Y to apply the new comment I've added, okay? Red shows what's removed, green shows what's added, right? Now I'll hit play, and after 10 seconds, a yellow diamond should appear. See? This would be the power-up, okay? We can do many more cool things like adding sounds and animations, right? This is just a simple example, of course.
So how can we get Cursor?
Well, we can get it for free with over 2,000 completions and 50 premium requests, which is quite generous. Then, as we see, for $20 a month, you don't get unlimited requests, but for $40, you get a super functional code editor tool for coding. You can download it from the official website and import your Visual Studio Code settings.
For example, if I search for Visual Studio Code here, I have it with my configurations.
I don't care much about all the settings, but the general aspects like extensions and such are there.
It's worth noting that the aesthetics are identical. It's almost like using the same program.
How can we set the programming language we'll be working with in our code? When creating a project, we go to File, click Create New Project in Visual Studio Code, then choose the language. Basically, we click on Search here, and if we want to work with CSS, for example, after clicking on plain text, which is what we'd be typing in by default instead of plain text, we click here in the bottom right section, and from here we can choose from many coding languages like CSS that I mentioned. All the coding options are here, don't worry. For example, PowerShell is a common one. Select it to use the PowerShell on your computer. If I select Python, it offers Python 3, 3.1, but as you can see, I have different versions to choose from. So let's say I want to program in Python. How can I install a different version than the one I already have? Whether you're using Visual Studio Code or this code, they both work the same way. Like the cursor. It's important that you go to the Microsoft Store and search for Python there, okay? As you can see, Python has many versions. You'll choose one based on the type of project you're working on. I've used versions 3, 13.1 and March 10th, 11. They're not necessarily the best, just ones recommended by 8CBT. You'll need to choose a version based on your project requirements, right? Just click Get and it'll install like this one I have here, see? Basically, once we have Python selected in this tool, hit Control N, create a new project, and where it says plain text, select and search for Python, okay? Select Python and it'll automatically set the one we've marked as favorite, alright? The favorite is basically the recommended one, which is the latest version. As you can see, I have one from Microsoft Store, the official one, and another labeled 64-bit. This is because, as you can see, it's located in a folder unrelated to the Microsoft Store, since previously you didn't need the Microsoft Store to get Python. If this happens to you, make sure it's in the path and so on, okay? If not, get it from the Microsoft Store to avoid any complications that might have arisen. Alright, how can we use AI, or more specifically, the tools Cursor provides with our existing tool? For example, I have the classic snake game here, right? It's programmed in a straightforward, simple way. Now, I want to give the snake a different look, okay? It might be tricky, but let's give it a shot. So, what I'm going to do is, as you can see, I have this chat open here. Important, if you don't see the chat, I'll show you how to open it. Go to View, click Open View, search for chat, and it'll appear. Got it? Select chat, and it opens up what's essentially our AI assistant, okay? As you can see, we can choose from different, I think DeepSeek isn't working right now, but we can select various models, alright? As I mentioned, the Cloud 3.5 model works really well for this. GPT-4, GPT-4 Mini or Preview, blah blah, right? Now I'll ask it to change the snake and apple aesthetics to look more realistic, not just monochromatic. I hit enter and it'll start thinking through the Cloud 3.5 software, okay? Because that's the software I've set up, which currently outperforms all others. As you can see, it'll do what AI typically does. Take existing code and add to it, then you have to figure out where to put the new code. This part's about colors, so I'll probably need to put it here. You know, it's a bit tedious, but we're all familiar with it. The cool thing is you just hit apply. This apply button shows the manual change I made, just as it is, right? So as you can see, you need to accept it. We do Control-Shift-Y, okay? The key is to review what it's written before applying it directly, all right? It also removes code, which is great, as it replaces the code, you see? Now I'll hit play. Let's see what it did. Look, it changed the snake, and the apples are a bit more realistic now, right? Now I need to tell it to use more frames, and it'll try to start programming, okay? We hit apply once more. It doesn't have to succeed, okay? I mean, it really doesn't have to get it right. Wow. Well, for instance, it didn't succeed, see? I asked it to do one thing, but it just sped up the entire game, right? I asked for more frames per second, and it sped everything up, right? So we'll try to fix it. As you can see, despite the snake moving super fast, it's more or less working, isn't it? That's how you can use this tool. It's super useful if you know programming. If not, well, I didn't read the code closely, but I still programmed Snake, huh? You don't need to be a genius, but for complex tasks, you'll need some programming knowledge. Still, it's very interesting. So that's all. And well, finally, let's talk about pricing, which basically would be... Basically, we can have a free pricing option, right? As we can see here, it's called Hobby Free. It includes 2,000 computations, 2,000 messages max, and 50 slow premium requests. Then, for $20 a month, we get unlimited premium requests. That seems crazy to me, doesn't it? For $40 a month, we get some more technical features like private mode and a centralized team, which are more business oriented. We can save up to 20% if we pay annually. I'm not sure I'd recommend paying annually since, as you know, the AI industry is developing so rapidly that we can't fully utilize one model before a better one appears. So keep that in mind. Not much else to add. I hope you enjoyed this guide. See you in future ones.